Okay, so y'all remember whenever I had that one intrusive thought in the last video, or the video before the last video, one of the last videos, I had this major intrusive thought about changing something in the kitchen while we're still in the kitchen. The intrusive thought might have won. So, preface.
That was premeditated.
It was not premeditated, I promise. Okay, so, backstory. I did not know what the heck I was doing with this kitchen. I had no idea what I was doing with this kitchen whenever we gutted it and we were completely renovating it. I've never designed a kitchen before. I've never designed it. I designed a house on The Sims, but other than that, like, I hadn't designed anything like house-wise. So I was lost and confused.
But
Jesus found me. Hallelujah. And the crowd said, "Thank you, Lord." So I went with something familiar. Okay, I went with brick. Brick was all over our trailer in the trailer park. I love brick. I originally said I wasn't going to use brick in this house, and now brick is the accent texture. So I went with brick in the kitchen. The only thing is I remembered, even before I did this, so I did this knowing very well this, but I remembered that in the trailer park, I didn't like the brick on the kitchen side of the trailer because it felt very cottagecore-y to me, and I'm not a fan of cottagecore. It's beautiful. I'm not saying it's ugly. I'm just not a fan of it. So when I got the brick up here, I was really happy with it because I had aced the faux brick to look like my actual brick over here, like actual faux brick. I aced the fake faux brick to look like my actual faux brick over here, the panels from Lowe's. I had gotten it almost identical, so I was really happy about that. But as time progressed, and you guys know I tell y'all all the time, I don't usually change things right off the bat. I'll let myself live with it for a little bit to see if I like it, and if I don't like it, then I go back and I change it. That's just real life. That's not like a content creator thing. That's just real life. If you're literally renovating a house, it's okay, and you're allowed to do something and not like it and to change it. And that's why I do things on a budget, because I don't want to lose money. And if I had went and done a complete brick, which I thought about doing, the laying the brick method on this back wall, I would not have been able to change it because that would have just been too much money to throw away. So I did it with joint compound and acrylic paint for like 25 bucks. And that's why I do things that way. It's a lot of times people are like, "Merina, you should go for quality." And I do go for quality sometimes, but a lot of times I know myself better than anybody, and I know I'm probably going to want to change it, and I don't want to waste money. That's the last thing I want to do. I have so many areas of this trailer to remodel, and Shane and I have huge plans for the future for this trailer, so we can't be blowing money on stuff that I don't know I'm going to be 100% happy with. So doing it this way with the joint compound gave me time to live with it, see if I liked it, and then I figured if I did like it in the future, I could go in and do the actual lay in the brick method. Come to find out, I don't like it that much over here. So that leads me to our intrusive thought of the day. I have extra this. I didn't go buy more of this. I have extra of this left from this project. Now, I mentioned it in the last video. You guys, so it was half and half. Some of you guys said that would look great. Some of you guys said that it wouldn't look great. Some of you guys said not to do it because water does not do good against this. And I listened to y'all because I know y'all know your stuff, and y'all have saved me 1,000 times from doing random butt stuff that just like would be crazy. But
You got that.
But Shane and I were thinking, and when you get Shane's half of his brain that works and my half of my brain that works together, we create an entire brain, and I think we came up with a good idea, and that is to
not do what we're doing.
That's not what we our idea with both of our ends of our brain coming together and coming up with an idea, our idea was to poly the front and the back of the pieces to protect it from water. Is this gonna work? I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. But I mean, I think it's a good premise. I think it's a good. If it doesn't work, it should work in the laws of science. Yeah. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't, and we'll just do something else. We're not wasting no money because we literally have extra of this laying on the porch, and it's just enough to like maybe do this.
I think we're good. I think we got it.
That's the plan for today. Before we get into all that though, I kind of have to clear off the kitchen counters because I was doing some bulk cooking. What the heck is bulk cooking? Enunciate, Merina. I didn't film a bit of it. I didn't film a smack dab bit of it. I just did it to do it. But I did some bulk cooking yesterday, so I have a lot of dishes I need to do. And I've been putting it off all day, so I need to get that done before we start working over there because I'm not about to have Shane measuring over dirty dishes So we're gonna get that tackled. And just had me say news at 11 because he said I sound like a news reporter today.
Hello, I'm fearfully created.
This is my mess. Sending it to you, Shane.
Well, I'm over here outside, Merina, and it looks like I'm gonna be out here for like another 5 hours, so.
Let's tackle this grossness. Speaking of bull cooking, I have some beef with myself. Oh my gosh, did President Merina have beef with past Merina in this video? Because I was like, girl, I know you worked your hind end off all day the day prior, cooking and making bulk items and stuff like that. I know. But could you have at least rinsed out the dishes? I mean, she could have at least done that. She didn't. And because she didn't, there was a bunch of crusty stuff that I had to work through before we could get to the fun part, which is the shiplap on the backsplash. I could have really kicked myself in the rear end for this one. I did my own self a disservice. I was mad. You'll even see it on my face here in a little bit while I'm doing dishes. Doing the dishes just made me more mad. It made me madder because girlfriend left me with some crud. This is past Merina documenting and saying she will clean these. Right, Merina? Right. Unlike past Merina, future Merina is dependable, and I did the thing. She will go back and clean these, and these are not going to be soaking for the rest of their life. She said it out loud, so if she don't, it'll be lying, and you can't lie, Merina. I'm going to get the rest of these pots to soak in, and I'm going to come back to them later, which is something 2020 Merina would never do. They literally, if they went soaking, they went to the soaking graveyard. They never came back half the time. This time, we're coming back to them. I came back to them. I tackled the thing, but I just needed to have them soaking because I didn't have time to scrub away at crusty dishes because I'm a butthead and I left myself with a mess. So while they were soaking, I also cleaned off the countertops and washed down the stove because the stove was in pretty bad shape too. And then once we get all the countertops washed down and everything, I'm going to go in and wash the backsplash. I'm going to wash, this has poly on it, so I can wash it. It's washable because it had that poly on it because it was a backsplash of the kitchen. I knew it would be getting grody. So I'm going to wash it down because we're going to attempt to just put the new paneling over that and just cut out the holes here that we have, you know, these pretty little light switch covers that are camouflage. Since we're attempting to put it on top of it, I don't know if it'll work or not. They're not too textured, because I didn't use a whole lot of joint compound, just enough to like give it a little bit of texture. So they don't stick out a lot or anything. I'm going to leave this here because I think that'll look good as an accent area above the stove, maybe. I'm going to wash down the walls as I wash down the counters here to make sure there's nothing gross back behind the new paneling to cause like bacteria or anything. And I'm doing that because I thought, literally, this is what I thought. I said, what would they do? What would you guys do? What would Miss Kristen do? Miss Debbie? All of you guys, what would you guys do? And I was like, they would wash down the walls. So I washed down the walls. You know, I have a WWJD necklace, but I need a WWFD, what would my friends do? Actually, WWYFD, what would my YouTube friends do necklace. While we're doing this, I'm also going to clean this area up right here that we never really cleaned really good up against this wall, up against the counter here. There's some paint. I did not get that done in this video because the backsplash gave us a little bit of a hard time, but I will get that done this week. Splatters and some leftover joint compound and stuff, and I usually test up a little bit with paint, and we're going to go ahead and do that so we don't have to revisit this area, and we can just be done with this area soon, hopefully.
I could dry out in the sun for you, follow the deep dark ocean down. For you I'd build the biggest kite and spend all of my time giggling. Daydreaming is my new middle name. This is not a game for me. Imagining is my new best friend, and red is all I see. I got a PhD in love. Every step, every breath, guarantee in love. No, we just have to wait and see. Daydreaming is my new middle name. This is not a game for me. Imagining is my new best friend, and red's all I see. Oh, daydreaming is my new middle name. This is not a game for me. And imagining is my new best friend. Red is all I see. Got a PhD in love. Oh, I got a PhD in love. Oh.
The dishes were overflowing, and it wasn't like minor dishes either. They were nasty. I'm ashamed of them. Like I'm telling you, you can see it all over my face. I was telling myself off in the nicest way. This is the face of somebody really mad. Can you see it? It's really mad. While I was giving myself down the road, Jesus was also butting in and saying, okay, all right, slow down now, like pump the brakes. Let's show yourself a little bit of grace. Yeah, you messed up. You do a lot. But let's not beat ourselves up. Let's just do it. Because I can sit here and I can beat myself up about it all day long. But if I'm not doing it, it's not doing any good. Now, I guess I could beat myself up while I actually do it, because that's double the productivity. But, I mean, forget what I just said. Like, as long as I'm doing it, it's getting done, and that's what matters. That's what matters. So I focused on that. Once I got over my little mad spell, I focused on that, and I really was just like, all right, Jesus, like, you know I messed up. You know how much I mess up. Like, just help me to do better next time, but also help me to, like, calm down right now, because I'm about to throw hands on myself. And I also just got checked about the double productivity thing, so forget I said that too, because Jesus reminded me that being angry with somebody is not being productive. So, action is productivity. So, me getting the daggone thing done was showing myself better than I could have ever showed myself by giving myself down the road that, hey, I got this, I'm fixing it, we're going to do the thing. If y'all have any ideas for that back gap, like a trim idea or something, hit me with it, because I'm really confused as to what to put there. I have no idea. Caulk will not go there because it's too big of a gap. I don't know what to do about that, and I also don't know what to do about the lacquer yellowing in my countertop in this area where the sun hits. It's very, very yellow, and it's only the spots where I sprayed the lacquer. I should have known better, but I didn't. So I need to know what to do about that too, because it's very, very noticeable, but it's underneath epoxy, which is the bad part, because you can't just like sand down epoxy and then redo it and then put epoxy back on top of it. It's a whole like 20 billion step thing. I would be so appreciative of any advice regarding that gap or the yellow lacquer. I take what y'all say to heart. A lot of things that me and Shane do in this video, you'll see, are things that y'all have told us to do in the comments, suggested that we do, some advice you've given us in the comments. Both Shane and I both read the comments, and we're like, snap, that is so smart. We'll be like, Shane will say, did you see what Kelly said? That was genius. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, right? I was going to tell you about that. So we take what you say to heart, and we do it. Whatever you say, we try it out.
I am just standing in your shot. Just not realize that.
Look at my hair behind my ears.
If you ever think of me, and if you want to drink another coffee, I find out in time. I meant to call, but I was too scared to hear you say
minutes.
There's a little bit of me inside of you, and I still wonder if you ever felt it too. But I can take the fall. So long, so hard, just to find the words to say. I tell myself I catch you on another day. Now time is running out.
What I'm hoping to achieve with the switch out is I think that with my faux marble countertops here and this, the faux brick, it looks kind of busy. Don't mind this area right here. This is where I put lacquer on it. Do y'all remember that? Well, when sunlight hits lacquer, it turns yellow. So some of the areas right here where sunlight hits a lot, it's yellowing. That's different.
Problem for another day.
Problem for another day. But I'm hoping it looks less busy. I'm hoping it just looks like cleaner and just more simple. Because this is a lot. And it's pretty, don't get me wrong, but I want it to just look simple. I really want a white kitchen, but I don't want it too bright. I want my accent colors, which I've been doing, and the accent woods and stuff like that. But I don't want too much going on in here because there's already a lot on the counters with kitchenware and little kitchen machinery things, whatever they're called. There's always a lot of that on the counters, so I want it to just be as simple as it can be on this end of the kitchen. So that's what I'm hoping to achieve with switching this out. Hopefully this looks good this way. We'll see. I will say though, having this clear like this makes me never want to put anything on my counters ever again. My brain feels better. Shane's measuring out his pieces. We were a little bit worried about the outlet covers because this stuff is really hard to work with. It's really hard to saw, but like I said earlier, we took a lot of y'all's suggestions in the comments of the last video, and one of you guys said to use painter's tape as a guide on top of the area you need to saw, and then it will cause it not to chip off on the edges so much. And I want y'all to see how true that little fact is. Like, that was genius advice, and I would suggest anybody working with any sort of board like this at all do exactly as they say, like we did, and it will save you from having to like do some edging work on your wood. Because the first time we didn't do the painter's tape method because we didn't know anything about that, and the edges were beat all to heck. But this time, it was insane when we peeled back the tape and realized how clean of a cut it was. I don't know the science behind it. I don't know why it does what it does, but all I can tell you is it 100% works. Another one of you guys also suggested that Shane keep his strings on his hoodies away from the saw because when he bends down, like it could potentially like pull him in by the strings. So now whenever he goes to saw, he tucks in his hoodie strings if he's wearing a hoodie. So that was genius as well, and I would suggest anybody else who saws. You guys probably don't wear hoodies anyway. We never even thought about that until it was mentioned. But buddy, when it was mentioned, we were like, okay, got it. And all of this is stuff that I don't think about, but you guys do. And I think it's because we have like 100,000 minds together, you know. Everybody's going to think of something. And that helps me out so much. You have no idea, because I don't know this stuff. Shane doesn't know this stuff, but you guys teach us so much. I literally want you to see when he gets done sawing this area right here, he pulls back the tape, and I want you to see how awesome this is compared to the last video where it was all messed up. It's perfect, literally perfect. No beating up or nothing. Like, could not look any better. I want to see what it looks like. Just set it up there against it. Okay, now let me walk away and see it from afar. Okay, I knew it. See, do you see what I'm saying? Okay, from this, look at this. See how clean and clear that looks? Simple it looks compared to that. That's really busy. I like this. I like this a lot. Now this wall is going to be painted and everything. We haven't even touched this area. We're about to touch that area. But this is what I'm going for versus this. I think this looks so much better. Which one do you prefer?
I think the panel looks pretty.
The paneling over the faux brick?
Uh-huh.
Why?
I like the simplicity of it.
It feels brighter, don't it?
It's pretty. It matches that too.
So are you good with it?
I'm good. Let's go. Let's do it.
Hey, does that... You think it'll almost cover up that gap?
It will cover up a little bit of it.
The bad part about being a duo and doing DIYs together is I don't do the hard work, right? I just have the ideas. Shane does the hard work. So when it comes to changing out backsplash, I'm like, oh, you can just pop a board up there and voila, call it a day. Shane, whenever he hears we're changing the backsplash, he sees the steps involved in doing that, all of them, where I don't. So he sees, okay, I've got to measure this out. I've got to completely cut out holes in this board I don't like messing with. I've got to make sure the outlet holes are perfect. I've got to piece it together in areas. I've got to nail it. I've got to caulk it and all the things where I'm just like, Shane's got it. So I have to start reminding myself, like, to you, it may seem easy because you don't do the work. Shane does the work. How hard it is based off of how hard Shane thinks it is because he's the one who does it. So that's what I've been trying to remind myself, and that's why I've always been adamant on involving Shane in the ideas and in the decisions. Always. It's a two-part decision. It is never just on my part at all, ever. It's never been. But I really have been making sure lately that I really pay attention to his reaction, because a lot of times he'll say yes to anything to make me happy, and I can tell, because I've been with him for 16 years, I can tell it all over his face when he really doesn't want to do something, but he's just doing it for me. So I've been making it a point to watch his facial features, watch his facial reactions whenever I suggest something, and then off camera, we talk about it on camera in front of y'all, and it's always like funny and cute, but outside, off the camera, in the background, we always have a conversation about what we're doing, because I never want to force him into anything. Like I said, he'll say yes to anything I ask, and I don't want him to do it just because he says yes. I don't want him to end up resenting me in the future because I asked him to do this. So I always make sure it's okay with him, because he knows how much work is going to go into this thing, whereas I don't. I just know what it's going to hopefully look like at the end. Babe, why don't you just cut right here and do it that way? Since there's going to be a plate there, you can just cut right there and it's easier to work with. Shane's working on like the 4th or 5th modification on just this side, so it's becoming a little bit of a bigger project than we thought. I think it's the material. He doesn't like working with the material, and so I think it has something to do with that, but he's pulling it off. It's just taking a lot of different tries, and we're limited on wood because we're using the extra from the pantry, so hopefully we can pull it off. If not, I'm gonna have half brick and half shiplap backsplash. I'm also always so hesitant to butt in like I just did and be like, hey, why don't you do this? Because I don't know what I'm talking about, and a lot of times what I say, he just looks at me and he's like, that's a good idea, but I know in the back of his mind he's thinking that's not feasible at all. So I was seeing that he was having issues, and we were on like our 6th or 7th try. It was a lot of tries, and I was like, well, what if we just piece it together around the outlet? We're gonna caulk anyway, and this stuff you can line it up pretty good with the grooves that's already in it. I was like, why don't we just piece it together? So he ended up doing that, and it actually ended up working for once. So for once I didn't have a bad idea. For once I wasn't just in the way. I could give a little bit of advice somewhere.
Myself when I'm stressed and upset. You know me better than anyone I know. Darling, we have been to hell and back. That's how I know this is forever. All these years, every single tear, all the regrets and promises. better than anyone you know. Yeah, I know exactly how you bottle things up inside, but you don't have to be stubborn, so know you better than anyone you know. Darling, we have been to hell and back. That's how I know this is forever. All these years, every single tear, all the regrets and promises, all the breakups, bumps in the road, we've been until we break. We keep crashing down, but baby, we got up. Yeah, what got us now? After all these years, you're still mine. It's you and I. It's you and I. It's you and I.
Thankfully, when Shane pieced this together, it didn't have huge gaps, so we didn't have like a big old caulk job after getting this up here. We really just had to focus on the corners where the countertops met the shiplap, and then just a few here and there in between where he had to piece it together where it was just a little bit gapped. We just had to do a little bit of caulking there, but Shane nailed it up here, and then I'm going to go in here in a minute after he gets every piece on here because he had to piece up beside the windows. The windows are really narrow, so he had to go in and he had to basically slice this stuff, which was hard. But he had to slice this stuff to go up the windows to be like narrow enough. So once he's done doing that and he's done caulking and the caulk is done drying, I'm going to go in with Sherwin-Williams Pure White, which is the color of my top cabinets. My bottom cabinets have yet to be painted. I'm going to be doing that with you guys in just like the next couple of days. I need to repaint those to get them to Sherwin White. We accidentally used Glidden primer. Yeah, just primer. So it's a lot yellower. I used to think there was not differences in whites, but there are definitely differences. Even with the Sherwin-Williams white palette, like there's differences. There's pink based, yellow based, neutral based. There's so many different kinds of whites. I like the Pure White by Sherwin-Williams. It's just really pretty and like all lighting, I think, even daylight with the warm lights on and natural daylight, whatever it is, I think it's super pretty. It doesn't pull a certain color, too much of a certain color under certain lighting. So I'm really happy with having that throughout the double wide. I was worried I would never love something as much as I love the Stone Harbor Grays, which was the place color that I had in the trailer park. I was worried, but I really do love the Sherwin-Williams Pure White. It really makes this double wide look ginormous in person. The ceilings look huge because the walls are pure white. So, I mean, it looks spacious in here, which it is. It's a big old double wide. I'm going to do some hamburger helper, cheap for dinner. It's cheap. It's fast. I was going to do pizza, and I was like, nope, we're not eating out. We're going to do hamburger helper. It's not the healthiest thing, but it's quick, and it saves us money because we're not going out and buying even an unhealthier thing, which is a bunch of pizza. So, I'm going to eat leftovers, though. I'm not going to eat the hamburger helper. I've got this vegetable hash stuff that I made, and I had leftovers in the fridge, so I'm going to heat up my leftovers and eat that, and then everybody else will have the hamburger helper here. It's a new hamburger helper we hadn't ever tried before. We've been periodically trying out new hamburger helpers. It's been an exciting thing Shane and I have been doing lately. That's how you know you're old, is whenever you get excited about a new hamburger helper flavor. But we've been trying them, and he liked this one. I actually had a little bit left over for him for lunch the next day, so he really liked this one a lot. He said he preferred the penne noodles versus the elbow noodles that come in the other. I also need to do like my teeth care because I ate dinner, and so I'll have to go in, floss, brush my teeth, brush and soak my plastic teeth that I call my plastic braces. I got to have them soak and brush them and everything. And then I'll be able to go back in my mouth, but I don't put them back in my mouth until after I've done my mouth care, just for like hygienic purposes. But this is coming to a rolling boil, so that means we can bring it to a simmer. And that means that we can set the timer for 13 minutes, and boom, that should be done in 13 minutes. Shane had to go to Lowe's to pick up more paint. Oh, snap. Shane had to go to Lowe's to pick up more paint. He's making some weird noise. We're out of Sherwin-Williams Pure White paint. and that's the what we're doing everything in. So Shane went to Lowe's to grab a quart or a pint or something of it.
You don't need to hide. Come closer so that we can be together. Everything that has been don't matter no more. We've burned it. All those whirlwinds can't touch us no more. We've earned it. We've earned it. Like lilies you open, the fragrance goes to my head, my darling. I get everything that has been don't matter no more. We've burned it. All those whirlwinds can't touch us no more. We've earned it. We've earned it. We've been mostly off track and under attack, so we've earned it. Now everything that has been don't matter no more. We've burned it. All those whirlwinds can't touch us no more. We've earned it. Everything that has been don't matter no more. We've burned it. All those whirlwinds can't touch us no more. We've earned it.
I meant to get new outlet covers while Shane was at Lowe's. I meant to have him pick them up when he went to go get the paint, and I forgot. So I'm just painting these for right now until I can get them. But I'll get them probably today, and I'll have them put up there. That way it looks a lot cleaner. But I wanted to see what it was going to look like complete, and so I just painted over these camouflage light switch covers.
A taken bed, a sun to set, and maybe we're falling, falling. This thing may all be over before it's begun, before it's begun. Let's get it not over before it's begun. You don't seem to be a bad one, don't seem to be a sad one, and I'm looking for a good time. So come on
this is what it needed. You guys can't really see it because of the light. Let me see if I can turn down the light a little bit.
You need to get out of frame too, because they ain't gonna want to look at the wall if you're there.
This is what it needed. That is exactly what it needed. This plays off the pantry perfectly, but then we have over here accent area with the brick above the stove, and it goes perfectly with that. It's not too busy. It doesn't feel like cottage anymore. Those stand out like crazy. I feel like I'm obsessed. I feel like I made a good call. Even Shane and the kids, they were like, okay, you made a good call. Yes, this is it. Has that little touch of something other. Let me turn off the lights over here. Maybe if I turn off the lights on camera, it'll show better. Cause y'all, it don't do it. That's, oh yeah. Let me move this paint. Do we see? Oh my gosh. It looks so pretty. Don't forget, I still need to paint this to match these. I haven't done that yet. I need to do that like within the next couple of days because all this lower part is literally the glitter primer that we accidentally used. All of this up here is the Pure White by Sherwin-Williams. That's why those look glossier too, because I use a semi-gloss so they'd be easier to clean. Down here, this is either flat or satin, I can't remember. But that's why there's a difference in colors here. Once we get that done, this area is gonna be so bright. This wall over here, we're also gonna be doing something with in the next few days. I'm not doing a pantry video until all the organizational stuff gets here because I got a crap ton of it and I need it all to get here in order to do that video. Something simple because we're doing something with this area right here. Still need to finish the floors, which that's going to be within the next few days too. We're doing a lot of just touch-up stuff, finishing up stuff in the next few days to get all of this done. We also got to do some trim work back there to hide that gap, and we also got to do trim work up there. We're going to use a batten up there because it's so little and we can't use the shiplap stuff. And then we need to cleanly do some edging around the countertop. But we'll be able to get those finishing touches done fast. What am I even saying? The good thing about this, and one of the kiddos made a good point about this, they were like, this looks simple and it looks good, but it looks great whenever you look at the pantry with it. So like the pantry, and then do you see like it goes so well together? So we got a lot going on in the next few days around here, and you guys know I'm gonna bring you with me every step of the way. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I hope y'all have a blessed morning, even not, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Know that I love you, but
Jesus loves you so much more.
so much more. I'll see y'all in the next one.